Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Soul Lux Life podcast. I'm super excited about today's episode. We're having a lunchtime chat. Usually we're here in the afternoons, but people are busy. And my guest, he's super busy, but he was able to squeeze me in today. So I want to thank him for that. And I have Gilberto Herrera. Did I get it right?
You got it right.
I got it
That's
right.
that's impressive.
Yes, he's joining us today. So we're going to give some people some time to jump on and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Soul Lux Life podcast, where our goal is to enhance the mental, physical, and spiritual luxuries in life. Make your life luxurious through knowledge, coaching, training, and technique. Visit us online at soulluxlife.com. Here's your host, Crispin J. Watson.
All right, we're back. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So again, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. First and foremost, I'm doing fantastic, better than I deserve. What about you?
I know so much better than I deserve. But today's a good day. I got my workout in. I'm here now, met with my mentee. So I feel like I'm being productive.
Been very productive. Sounds like.
So tell us a little bit about you, kind of who you are, where you grew up, how you ended up in Alabama.
Yeah. So, man, I'm just a guy that's on a mission to scale, businesses through people. I feel like everybody, should have a personal brand, and they should put themselves first before they try to help anybody. So I do that, through consulting in the areas of brand marketing.
Hmm.
I was born in Panama, raised in Brooklyn, New York, moved to Alabama when I was in high school. What a lot of people don't know, what kept me here was the fact that I was a father at 17. Otherwise, I would have been out of here by now. But it worked out for the best. So here we are now. I get a chance to connect with people like yourself and do amazing things in the community. I sit on many boards. The Birmingham Urban League Young Professionals Board. I'm their president. I'm the Hispanic Interest Coalition of Alabama Junior Board's president. I sit on the AG Gasson Boys and Girls Club board. I sit on the board of governors at City Club, which is a private club here in Birmingham. So, very, very involved in the community, and got my hands, feet, and ears to the street. So I know exactly what's going on, and usually I can pick up the phone and solve many issues with my network here.
Hmm. Nice. So it seems like, you're kind of making your way around and you're very active in the community. Have you always been like this, or was it something that kind of drove you to become very active in the community?
Um, it was 2011. I had my first official job as a banker, and I was invited to a Birmingham Urban League Young Professionals meeting. And when I met the people that I was around, I immediately joined. What we call the movement.
Hmm.
The president of the movement at the time, um, he kind of took me under his wing and said, "Hey, how would you like to, take a leadership position in the organization?" At that time, I had no idea what leadership was, and you know, jumped right in. And one of the things I always tell people, if you want to learn certain skill sets, do the work for free.
Hmm.
And so I started, doing community service work through the organization, but that translated into, you know, leadership, managing a team, project management, and so many other things that I was able to leverage and use in my business and in my career.
Yeah, speaking of which, so tell us what you do.
So, as I was telling you earlier, I'm a marketing consultant. Well, I specialize in brand marketing, and the reason I say brand marketing is because everybody wants to market, right?
Hmm.
But if you don't have a brand, if you don't have a way that people see you and view your company, your brand, your whether it be personal or business, they're not going to connect with your marketing, and it's going to be harder for you to sell them. So if you build a strong brand in the beginning, with a message that captivates your audience, by the time you start putting your message out into the marketplace, your audience is connected with you, And when they come through
Mhm.
your doors, they have a strong connection with you, not just to buy a product, but they feel like you understand them, because people don't buy when they feel like, you know, they understand you. They want to feel like you understand them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how important would you say marketing is for companies, especially small businesses? Let's kind of scale it down to small businesses because a lot of people they start businesses, but they don't really put money into a marketing budget. So, how important would you say it is to kind of have a budget for your marketing?
It's extremely important. I'll tell you my favorite reason to have a marketing budget. It creates predictability in your business. If I know if I spend $1, I can get five back every single month. Then based on the data and the work that I've done, I know if I spend, let's say, $1,000 on marketing a month, you know, I'm gonna get 4,000 every month.
Hmm.
So it makes business a lot easier once you get to that point. Now there are other forms, like if you're just starting out, you don't necessarily have to spend a ton of money on marketing, but you do want to, once you start getting, you start becoming profitable, you want to set aside a portion of your revenue, and you want to attract, you want to set that aside for marketing. you know
Hmm.
um I would say in the beginning, you don't necessarily want to spend a bunch of money on marketing, especially your traditional medias like your billboards, your TV. One, because they're costly, radio, things like
Hmm.
that. I would invest in branding, building a personal brand or building a brand. I would start figuring out who it is that I want to be around and who I want to serve, and find out where they are. And instead of having a marketing budget, set that budget aside to be a sponsor at events. Maybe you get a chance to speak. Maybe you get a chance to collect, emails and phone numbers after that.
Hmm.
And then you can start nurturing relationships that way. And that way, by the time you do get to the point where you're marketing, we can take that data, load it up in Facebook, and we can reach them, frequently and consistently a different way.
Nice. So, build a personal brand by actually getting out there into the community,
Yeah, I mean,
meeting people.
just know who you want to serve and where.
Hmm.
You got to know that person so well that you know where they hang out at. It don't necessarily have to be at a charity event, but what restaurants they go to,
Right.
where do they go to have fun? You know what I mean? Like
Kind
I
of
know
put
some.
yourself in those rooms.
Yeah. So for instance, you're a realtor, right? I know somebody that
Hmm.
wanted to service athletes, so he made it a point to work out in the gym that they work out in.
Nice.
He leveraged that as a resource to build his clientele up.
Nice. So we have a comment. Somebody said marketing consultant is what they wanted to do in college.
Hmm.
Um, do you think it's too late? So if someone like already has a degree, do you think they need to go back to school to
No,
start getting into the marketing business, or can they just kind of start where they are?
I would say, marketing is such a vast term. Find out what drives you. So like with me, I like to write copy. I like direct response marketing. So what I mean by that is, if I put something out into the marketplace, I want a direct response. I don't care about the billboards. I don't care about the TV ads. I want to be able to know that if I put something out, I can collect
Hmm.
data right away. I can see how people are responding. I can see if my offer is working right away. Um, you know there's so many ways that you can become a marketer. You can be on the data side, where on the back end you collecting data through tools like Google Analytics, and you checking the SEO, and then you give that to the person that creates the campaigns. So I mean, I would say you don't have to go back to school.
Hmm.
There are a ton of free courses, that you can leverage. Grow with Google is a free resource that you can find a ton of courses for free. Google Garage is another one. There are tools like HubSpot, that give free classes. YouTube
Nice.
University, you can go on YouTube and
Hmm.
learn so much about marketing, that is ridiculous. But the biggest thing is, you don't want to be all things to all people. Pick the niches, bring the riches. So figure out what your lane is, and then you
Hmm.
go there. But to go back to school just to get another degree and get back in debt, only to go, that's you know kind of working backwards. Now you can start acting fast.
Right. Yeah, so I like how you said kind of pick a niche and kind of see because like you can that is broad. Like I want a marketing agency firm, whatever, but do I want to market businesses or rap artists, because that's two totally
Right,
different spectrums
right.
when it comes to that. Nice. We have another question here. It says, what are the most effective ways to have your brand seen?
It depends on who you are and what your business is. Again, that's super broad. I would say the first question you have to ask yourself is, who's my customer and where are
Mm,
they? What type of content they consume? Where are they usually spending their time at? You know, so let's say for instance, um, you're a luxury realtor, right?
mhm,
And you want to target, C-suite executives. You know, what type of magazines do they read? Where what are they checking on their phone? Is it the Birmingham Business Journal? Is it Rob Report? Those are some of the things that you need to start thinking about. It's not so much. It all starts with who you are and who your customer is, and how your message aligns with them, and does it align with the publication that you want to read? What websites do they frequent? You know,
mhm,
um, what type of blogs do they read? You can go so many different places and get on the display network and put your message directly in front of that audience. If it's a football mom or a soccer mom, maybe you can sponsor the field. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Social media, I mean, it's a free tool.
Absolutely.
Use them like they use you. you know they get your data and they sell it to other companies. And find out what groups on social these people are. Find out what social medias they're using. You don't have to
Mhm,
you don't have to be on all of them. Like me, my focus is on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and some Twitter. I don't really care about TikTok,
mhm.
because you know my audience isn't necessarily there.
It doesn't serve your business. Yeah,
Yeah,
whereas me, I like a lot of my clients come from TikTok. They see me on there talking about houses. I'm showing different houses. So this that kind of goes back to what you said also, just kind of figure out where your people are and
absolutely,
get in front of them there. Great question. We appreciate the question. So what would you
absolutely.
say are some of the biggest challenges you've seen when it comes to branding and marketing? I guess among some of your clients that you work with personally without getting too
People
personal.
people think about themselves and not the customer they try to serve. So I'll give you an example. I have a partnership with a company, and you know we were talking in reference to some of the things that they post on their social media.
Hmm.
I was kind of telling them like, hey, you market to you market luxury goods to men. Some of the stuff that you post is not aligned with what that person might want to consume, or how you should be looked at.
Hmm.
And they're like, well, um I I just like to have a little comedy here and there. And I'm like, yeah, but you're thinking about you. You're not thinking about your customer. You can post that stuff on your personal page, but this
Hmm.
page, it needs to have a certain voice. It needs to have a certain feel. Just like when they walk in your store, it has a certain tone, a certain feel. You got to translate the same thing online. Then we were talking about who she wanted to do partnerships with. She showed me a picture of a guy, and I was started looking through his stuff, and I was like, "Hey, let me ask you a question. If you don't pay this dude, will he ever buy from you?" She was like, "Nah, not really." I said, "Then he's not your customer." I said, "You
Yeah.
like him, because that's the type of person that you are. But remember, people like myself. If you never give me $1, I'm still gonna buy from you because you got stuff that I like to wear." You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I gave her a couple of
Right.
different examples. I said, "You got to tailor your message to the people that buy from you, not the people who you want to come in your store." You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
And that
Yeah.
goes back to understanding your customer, and that goes back to understanding where you're trying to take the business to.
Absolutely. And I can kind of scale that back to real estate. Like if you want to be a luxury agent, you have to post luxury houses. You
Right,
can't, say you're a luxury agent and all we see is like, investment properties that need to be refurbished. We need to see what you're trying to get to.
right.
So
And then
that's cool.
your brand should attract the people you want, but also repel
Hmm.
and keep the people you don't want away from you. They shouldn't even think twice about coming to you because every customer is not for you. Again, you got to niche down.
Oh, yeah. And that's good. Because I mean, I've had to turn clients down just because we want to get a good fit. So it happens. All money isn't good money. Keep
Oh
that
yeah,
in mind.
oh yeah. Trust me. I got my stuff set up where certain people don't even think twice about coming to me just for that very reason.
Absolutely. You got to kind of weed out your audience there. So tell us about your book.
So I really just created it to give people a really easy to digest tool to learn sales, marketing, and branding. Those are the three tools that you need to drive, you know, to really give to fuel your business basically because they drive the revenue. Without the revenue, you can't invest in other areas of your business, your operations. You
Hmm.
can't hire the best accountant, you can't hire the best lawyers. Everything in life is a sale. um, Once you learn how to sell, you need to be able to bring in as many leads as possible so that you can sell to them. And then
Right.
your brand will attract people without you having to put a dollar out there.
Yeah.
It's a really short read. It's simple, and it just gives people that are starting out a compass on the three things that they need to do to start bringing in money right away.
Yes, absolutely. So what's the name of it and where can we find it?
How to scale you. So you can find it at howtoscaleyou.com.
Yes. Make sure y'all go get that. I'm going to get my copy and make sure I read it.
Yeah, or what I would do for your stream, I usually sell it for like $5. But if they email my team info, matter of fact, we'll figure it out. But I'm gonna figure out a way to give it to your viewers for free since this is your personal group, your
Yes, I
private
can
group.
write it in the comments. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll put it in the
hold on.
comments.
Let's work through that. Let's work through that right now. But go ahead.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah, so make sure y'all tune into this live stream. If you're listening, you better go back and join the Solux Life Network group on Facebook. It's a public group, but you have to join so you can get the updates. That's what we're going on. See how we're always giving away free things here. It's
oh
Christmas
yeah.
time. We're in the season of giving, so we appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean that tool is so valuable, especially if you don't know how to sell. I simplify it all for you. If you don't know how, if you don't understand marketing, I make it as simple as possible to understand how people buy. Because you got to put yourself in the mind of a customer, and you got to understand that there's a path to purchase. They got to see you, then they got to consider you, then they buy from you, and it doesn't stop there. Then after that, you got to make sure that they're so loyal to you that they come back to you, and they tell other people to come to you.
The key word there is you. Notice how
A-
many times he said you and all of that.
Absolutely.
Hence,
Absolutely.
how to scale you.
Yep. So if they text 205-832-5773 with their name and their email and the words free book, my team will send that directly to them. And I'll even do one better. If they text that, if they gotta I gotta make sure that they're from your group. I will also not only give them a copy of my free book, but I also have a branding course that I normally sell for $200. I'll give that to them for free.
Look, y'all, let me go ahead and text it now while I'm on the phone so I can go ahead and get
Yeah,
mine.
so and at the end of the day, man, I'm a giver. I like to give as much as possible because at the end of the day, if people, I feel like this, you can give it all to them if they want. If they're ready to take action, they're gonna pay you for what you do anyway.
Absolutely. People invest in, like you, people that they like.
Absolutely.
So, and you may not be the best, but you may have connected with them on a level. So they're like, hey, I want to support them because I actually like them as a person.
Yeah, and then
So,
to me, it's not. I don't look for people to support me. I look to be valuable to people. So as long as I'm providing so much value to you, you'll want to come back to me. It's no different than being in a relationship. You got to be valuable to each other every day.
right.
And that
Absolutely.
I do that in the form of providing resources. Giving out free content. Connecting people with resources. You name it. Because at the end of the day, life is about people.
Hmm.
And I want my work to outlive me. I get my big bags from corporations, but I remember being you know, in a position where I felt like nobody would help me. So I had to figure everything out on my own. So that's a gift and a curse. But at the same time, there might be people, that are ready to take that next step, ready to scale their business
Mhm.
and be serious about it. But just nobody has given them a chance yet, and I like to be that for certain people.
Yeah, that's good because I mean, I feel like we have to serve others. That's kind of why we're here on this earth,
Absolutely.
to serve and live out our purpose. So it's not always about you. You got to have a heart of gratitude and a heart of servitude so you can
Well, if you're in
be of
business, your business ain't about you anyway. It's about the people you
right.
serve.
Mhm.
It's about your employees because that's your first customer, and then your clients. Your employees first because if you don't empower them, whatever you transfer to them, they're gonna transfer to your customers, and it's gonna make your business look bad.
Mhm. And people can tell when you're just in it for the money too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, it's not always about that. We have it pinned in the group. So if you want your free copy of his book, make sure you guys text and email him. You can tell he is dropping gems for you guys. He is giving away free items on the podcast just for you guys tuning in because the goal is to be a resource. So what are some resources you would say helped you in your business, whether it be particular podcasts, books, or maybe events, masterminds that you've been to?
Man, I read every day, all day. In the beginning, I started reading, like your typical books like Think and Grow Rich,
Think and Grow Rich,
Rich,
right?
Rich Dad Poor
Rich
Dad.
dad, poor dad.
I would tell you if you hadn't read How to Win Friends and Influence People, that's a really good one. That's like an intro to marketing in a sense because it teaches you to put yourself in the mind of a customer. And one of the
Mhm.
key lessons from there is, if you was to go fishing, you would think about what kind of fish you're trying to catch and what to put on your hook so that you can bait them in. You don't think about yourself at that point. You think about what it is
Mhm.
that it's going to take for you to get that fish out the water. So you got to think about your customers
Mm.
in the same sense. Um,
Oh, that's a good one. That was called How to Win Friends and Influence
how to win friends and influence people.
People.
That's a
I'm gonna
classic.
drop that in there for you guys.
There are many books like Contagious, Purple Cow, those, influence. Uh, you know, but I would say, yeah. So I'm starting to see the people come in. So my team will get that to you shortly. Um, but if you, as long as you read and you don't have to eat a book, if you read about 10 pages a day, turn your car into a university.
Mhm.
Instead of listening to the latest, whatever you're listening to, pop in a podcast. Watch a YouTube video. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Audible. If you don't like to read, there's always Audible. I'll read a book.
Yeah.
I read every day, but I also listen to Audible. I still
Mhm.
I'm still invested in courses. I've paid probably over $100,000 in education myself. I'm taking a course right now, a digital marketing and an e-commerce certification. That's 6 months. And a lot of the stuff I know, but then some of the stuff I didn't.
Mhm.
So you always just got to keep the sword fresh. I
Yeah.
take courses on Facebook ads, TikTok ads, LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, Google Display Network, SEO, but my biggest skill set is I'm a copywriter. I can write words that garner attention. And that's a skill that
Mhm.
a lot of people don't master. So if you listening to me, I would urge you all learn how to write copy, because the words that you write on your posts and how you write them will dictate if they click on whatever you put out there. And your goal is to get them to click on whatever it is that you have so that they can come to your personal, you know.
Mhm.
Also, I'm big on email marketing. You know, you
Yeah.
you don't see me promote a lot of my stuff on Facebook or or any of my socials. But I do have a huge email list, and that's partly just being honest with you. That's partly why I give away a lot of stuff. It's because I want to nurture those relationships. So now that those people are in my funnel, I can deliver more value to them and speak directly to them. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Simply because if social media ever goes down, I don't own that data. You know what I mean? But I do own, my email server. I own my
Mm-hmm.
website. You know,
Right.
so I want to have a direct conversation with my audience on a consistent basis. I write articles. So, but yeah, so if you don't learn nothing from me today, learn how to write copy, build an email list. If you think email marketing doesn't work, that's a lie. I can send one email and get 50 people through to my event in one email. I've sold things for
Mm-hmm.
other people through my emails.
Yeah, I've
Um,
got real estate clients through emails. I try to send out a newsletter, and I've had clients, they're like, I would have forgot about you, but you're always sending me an email. So
right, right, and it doesn't have to be salesy. As long as you deliver
mm-mm.
value, stay in touch with them. See, that's another thing that people, especially in real estate, they sell you that house one time, but they don't
Nay, you
they
don't hear
forget about
from.
you after.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how you gonna
Yeah,
get
definitely.
how you gonna get the referrals? How you gonna
Hmm.
when they're ready to upgrade that house? They might go with somebody else.
Yeah, because I can't remember your name. I've got clients like that. I asked them, like, did you have a realtor when we bought this? I was like, yeah, but I can't think of her name. So,
Right, because they sold the house, they got gone, and they didn't think to continue to follow up, even if it's once a quarter, twice a
right.
year. Just the
Even like
little thing.
holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Right, birthday.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. We talk about that a lot in real estate, but I know that you can use that in whatever business that you do. My
Absolutely.
sister's a photographer, and she kind of used some of the same things that I use in my real estate for her photography business
So I can
to
see why
clients.
your content is the way it is.
It's not all her now, but it's a lot of her. She does my professional photos. So definitely book captured by Caris Photography. She's the best. Have to plug the sis there. So what would you say were some of the your biggest challenges with starting your business?
Man, so with me, um, I was always good at sales. I knew how to get the money. It was just the
Mm-hmm.
operational side. Like I was getting money, but I wasn't investing in operations. I wasn't investing in accounting.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't investing in things to streamline my business. I was just hustling. Some other people might have a different issue, but for me, because I've always been in sales, I can go talk to anybody, put a contract in front of you, present to you, negotiate, get a contract, and start servicing the contract. But I had to learn how to streamline my business where I can have a process and I can have a system in place to make my life easier and keep my customers happier. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so when you start getting a little money, start investing back into your business and really systemize it and really make it a business. Because in the beginning, we're just hustling. We're trying to get that client.
Absolutely.
We're trying to get some money coming in, but it's really not
Mm-hmm.
a business. Yeah, it's really not a business until you can invest into marketing. You know, accounting. You can invest in software that automates things for you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you need a CRM so you can keep up with all the leads and keep it all together so that you can see where the conversation is and when you need to follow up again. Can't leave it up to chance.
Absolutely. So kind of tell us what's the day in the life of you as a marketing consultant? What's your routine like, starting with your morning routine all the way until at night?
4:30 up, 5:30 workout. Of course. Well, of course, I skipped a couple steps as I meditate. Um,
Mm,
then I go to the gym. Then after I go to the gym, I'll come into the office. I'll read, for about 30 minutes. Then the first thing I'll do is look at all my personal campaigns and see where they are. I'm looking at what I got running to see if I need to tweak anything.
mm-hmm.
Then I start looking at, I always have a checklist, so I always have, something that I'm working towards. My Mondays are centered around, I don't take meetings on Mondays, so I plan my week that day, set my goals, and then I set, key performance indicators to get me to those goals. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, I take all my meetings with my clients, potential clients. Fridays is my wrap up. And, Saturdays, that's when I set it aside for education of the first part of the morning. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
always either in a mastermind, like you said, taking a course, going to a seminar, a webinar, anything of that sort. because I'm always trying to get in rooms of people that are a chapter ahead of me.
Right. Nice. So you mentioned earlier that you were a parent.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So how is like your work life balance? I know your kid's probably a little older now. How old is he?
my oldest daughter's on
Oh,
19.
she. Sorry.
Yeah. My and then I have a 14-year-old girl. So how that works is, of course, I was a parent at 17. Initially, that was I was a kid, so she had to watch me grow up. But
And we grew up together.
we really did, you
Yeah.
know. But she's in college, so she's just as busy as I am. But the beautiful thing about that, she enjoys going to places with me that are related to what I do. So like if I have a gala to go to or a networking event, she comes and she, enjoys the event while I work. But we
Hmm.
also set aside time, like on Sundays, we'll set aside time to do something together. My 14-year-old girl, she's coming into who she is right now. So she when we do spend time together, she likes to go to the movies. So there's always time,
Hmm.
for us to bond.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's one thing I caught myself like in that hustle mode that you spoke about earlier. I'm just hustling, hustling, hustling. And I wasn't really spending like I was there with my kids, but I wasn't there like really mentally because I'm thinking about work. I'm thinking about calling
Yeah,
clients, doing this and that. So I've been trying to be more intentional about actually doing things with
yeah,
them.
and with me, I know they're gonna outgrow my lap eventually. So my goal is to just show them to be the best human beings they can be, so that they can live the
Yeah.
best life possible. I'm not trying to be their friend. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to, I'm not trying to be selfish and live through them. I let them be who they are.
Hmm.
So like for instance, with my oldest daughter, when she was growing up, she tried a million things. She tried photography, cheerleading, dance, you name it, she's done it all. But that's because she wanted to. So I never forced anything on her. Same thing, with Jordan. She right now she's in the stage of where she says she wants to be a business owner. So and she works with a friend of mine right now, and my friend is showing her how she runs her operations on the weekends. At 14.
Hmm. Right.
So they get to see it, and I was like, 'cause, the earlier you start, the earlier you will know if this is what you want to do.
Absolutely. Start them young. I love that. So, what would you say was, I guess, from starting your own business, what was your biggest failure and how did you
Man, I have
overcome
several.
it?
So one of my biggest failures was starting a business with a friend. We're no longer friends. And just
Mm,
simply because we had the best intentions together, but we didn't create a strategic partnership agreement on paper to outline, our roles, what we
mm,
should do to, what we can't do, what kind of decisions need to be made together, who's in charge of what, things of that nature. It's no different than if you're about to get married and you get a prenup. You should do the same thing in business. Um,
mhm.
you know, that was one. Man, I've taken a lot of L's in business. I've tried to do joint ventures with people
Yeah.
where it didn't go well. I was the face of it, so of course I took the biggest L. Meanwhile, the
Mhm.
people in the background, you know,
Just
they
going
get,
on about their life.
oh yeah, So I mean, but that's the thing about business. If you don't fail, you'll never
Yeah.
know. You'll never be able to pivot and grow. You know, you the thing about life. When you go to school, they give you the answers to the test ahead of time, and then you take the test. In life, you take the
Mhm.
test first, and then you figure the answers out. You know,
Right. That's why I think it's so great for people to invest in things like masterminds and things like that because those people, they've taken the test, they got the answer. So why make it hard on yourself? You have to invest in you and your business. So,
absolutely. And even if you go to a mastermind, you'll still eventually gonna fail at something. But the thing
hmm,
is, you want to fail as fast as possible. Get it out of the way.
right.
Um, it's no different than going to the
Kind of know
gym.
what to expect. Like, they talked about this and,
Yeah.
it's happening.
When you go to the gym, you beat your body up to failure, and then you recover,
Hmm.
and then you do it all over again until one day you wake up and you accomplish your goal.
Right. Nice. So, where do you see yourself in, let's say, 5 years?
In 5 years, so let's see, I'll be 41. My goal honestly is to be a venture capitalist. I want to be able to take what I know, invest in businesses that are already thriving and make them grow bigger. More particularly, Latino and black owned businesses.
Hmm.
And I want to be that partner to them that helps them, get the success they want. And I know I can't do that by being in business on my own. I want to have as many successful partnerships as possible and build a conglomerate of businesses that are thriving.
Hmm. Nice.
It's essentially my goal. So not to be on the business side, but on the investor side. So I'm doing everything possible now to be able to accomplish that.
Yeah. So, what are some of your personal goals for the next 5 years, like outside of business? What are some things you want to do?
So as far as my personal goals, I'm learning how to box. So possibly one day, spar in the ring. That's a physical goal. That's how I challenge myself. Um, I wanna spend as much time within the next 5 years traveling. Uh, my goal is to get to the point where I can walk away from business and my business not need me for a year.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
in order to do that, you have to have the right system in place. So take for instance the CEO of McDonald's. He doesn't have to show up, and the system still runs. Same
Absolutely.
thing with any of the large corporations. You know, and here's another book that I will tell y'all to read. It's called The E Myth. So it talks about exactly what I'm referring to. It talks about building your business in a way that you're going to sell it one day. That takes the emotion out of building a business, and it teaches you how to create a scalable business through processes. And a lot of our small business owners, they get into syndrome where they got to do everything themselves.
Hmm.
And they don't trust anybody. Well, that usually stagnates you because
Yes.
if you need to take time off, your business, you're not making no money. If you want to take a vacation, your business stops. But if you put,
Right.
but say for instance with you, if you become a broker, you your realtors are still going to be out there selling, paying you broker fees and things of that nature. So you still get that income without you having
Hmm.
to be the one doing all the work.
Yeah, I was watching a YouTube video about a business, and she said her biggest, I guess, drawback was her not hiring help early on. She
Right.
waited so long. She was trying to do everything herself, and it was really pushing her back. But she could have been so many steps ahead. So,
Right. And then, in the beginning, you might not have the resources to hire somebody
hmm,
full time, but you can, you know, I tell people all the time, you don't need a team. You just need to get stuff done. So you can
yeah,
hire someone on a
on
one
certain
time.
projects,
Yeah.
right?
Or you can go to Fiverr. You can go to Upwork.
Hmm.
You can get a
Yeah.
virtual assistant that works, for pennies on the
Oh,
dollar.
literally, yes. So yeah, investing you. This has been wonderful. Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience?
That's really it. You got, I would just say, hey, if you're on this journey and you want to build a business or you want to take a career to another level, invest in a personal brand. Um,
Hmm.
you know, think about Apple. They got a polarizing figure. Elon Musk has driven new life into Twitter. You know, people follow Elon Musk, right? Beyonce. People, no matter what she supports, they're gonna buy it. Rihanna. All the partnerships she has. That can translate into other streams of revenue too. Like my speaking fee is $10,000 for 1 hour of my time. $15,000 for half day, which is usually 2 to 4 hours. And if I
Hmm.
do a full day, it's $20,000. If I go overseas, those fees double. You know, and that's because of my personal brand. You know,
Nice.
I've been able to create 7 streams of income just off my name. People don't even care about my business's name; they care about me. They know me. You know,
Yeah.
consulting, speaking, courses, content. Strategic partnerships, affiliates. Affiliate partnerships. I've done. You can do the same, but you gotta brand yourself. You know,
Hmm.
you got to understand that there are people that want to be a hero, and you're their tour guide to make them a hero. You know, another book that I will give you all to read is called How to Build a Story Brand by a guy named Donald Miller. I don't know if you ever read that, but that's really a golden book.
How to Build a Story Brand. So yeah, make sure you guys get all of these books, read them. Um, Text your name and email so they can add you to the list. You can get your free information. This has been wonderful. I really enjoyed it, and I really appreciate you, Roberto, for coming on.
Hey, thank you for having me. You know, let's catch up soon.
Yes, absolutely.